Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. John F. Kennedy. We saw this in France, 1789, Russia, 1917, Germany, 1930s, China in 1949, Cambodia, 1975, Romania, 1989, and Venezuela in the 2000s. Every one of those countries believed it couldn't happen to them, and it did. We learned from history. History is a great teacher. And from there, we can go on and decide what we need to do to be able to, well, protect ourselves from the probable future of what's coming. The question is, are we seeing it right now in America? This video is going to show you that. And I want you to listen very, very carefully. I'm going to make a connection for you at the end of this video that even when I saw this connection, blew my mind, and it's probably going to be for you as well. It's something we cannot ignore, and it is the worst of the worst case scenario for us here in the United States. And this shows we must prepare now. We have to get ready because there's still some time. But this is probably the most important video I've ever made. And please heed warning and watch this. Share it. And let's go through this, because when it comes to revolution and collapse, there's 6 stages specifically. The first stage, extreme wealth inequality. And all throughout history, time after time, we've seen wealth accumulate among just a small elite group of people. And because of this, resentment grows. People get very frustrated. And these wars, these revolutions we've seen, often are tied to this. And even modern day, rumors float around that say the wealthiest people aren't paying their fair share of taxes. When it comes to income tax, they are. Over 35% of their income is taxed. But listen to this carefully. That's just a smokescreen. The income for wealthiest people isn't really income when we talk about as far as gains go. The wealthiest pay 35%, middle class only 3%, maybe a little bit more. But here's the thing, it's not about income taxes. That's a smokescreen. It's a lie. The true wealthiest people, the billionaires, or as Elon Musk is heading into being a trillionaire, the first trillionaire soon, it's not about taxes. They do what's called a buy, borrow, die approach, a strategy so they don't have to pay taxes. Here's how it works. They buy or build their assets, company stock, real estate, equity, etc. They build it up because they have the money to invest, a lot more than we do, by the way. They borrow. On that, they borrow and use that as their income. But guess what? When they borrow it, they pay interest, which isn't much for them, and then they use the interest as a tax write-off. So literally, because of that, they don't have to pay taxes at all. In fact, makes it so it's a tax burden, which helps them out. And then die. When they die, they take all that money and put it into their kids, and the cycle continues, and they become wealthier and wealthier without literally ever having to pay an income tax. Do they pay tax on income? They do. But there's never any income because their wealth grows and grows and grows. Whereas for us, we do have to pay income tax, even if it is just 3%. Well, we still have to pay that, and that is horrible for us. So as the middle class, we struggle and pay taxes. So stage 1, check. Yep, we're there. Stage 2, government corruption and incompetence. Leaders lose authority. Elites protect themselves instead of doing any type of reforming of the system. And of course, if we can count the number of corrupt politicians in America, well, that would be a really high number. The problem is we put way too much faith in politicians on both sides of the aisle. Even if we find just a small few try to do the right thing, which I believe that's true, by the way. There are a few, I think, trying to make changes. It's like David versus Goliath. The corrupt ones are way too rooted in to be able to be removed or to make any significant changes. And therefore, we can't get anything done. Everything's a political ploy. And of course, we're seeing this right now. So yes, out of the 6 stages, number 2, check. It's happening right now. What about stage 3, middle class destroyed and radicalized? With this, we see educational professionals turning against the system and organize resistance and demand reform for what they think the reform should be done. And right now, our middle class is alive and well. Well, maybe not so much the well part, but the middle class is still alive. We're struggling, right? You're one of us. You're sure everybody in the channel is middle class. We're doing everything we can to survive. Grocery prices, inflation through the roof. We can barely afford even groceries. It's very difficult for us to make ends meet. I don't know about you. Last time I was at the grocery store, sure enough, I could barely afford anything. And even more so, we're seeing more and more of the middle class going into a welfare system, but they're staying as middle class. This is a really interesting stat for you. Welfare dollars rose from the year 2000, 18% to 28% in 2019. And that's not even including what happened in 2020 and 2021 when we saw that huge change, if you know what I mean. But here's the scary part. Out of all the welfare dollars, the amount of money the government puts out into the welfare system, in 1979, 20% of those dollars went to the middle class. But today, 60% goes to the middle class. 60%. So what's going on? How does that work? What we're seeing is there's so much money coming in, and in a sense, the classes are based on how much income you have. A lot of the money's not going to the poorest people anymore, but literally sustaining a middle class in which the middle class lives on a welfare system, and being middle class does pretty well. I don't know about you. I've mentioned this before. I know a few people who are middle class who are on a complete welfare system, and they do pretty well. In fact, they do so well that even if they want to get off the system, they can't get a job that would pay as well, not working. They are incentivized to stay home and relax and play video games or do whatever. Just don't get a job. That's the biggest thing. So here's what's going on. We're seeing a massive rise in welfare, but that massive rise is still being people in the middle class. And the worst part, we talked about this in the last video. Make sure you watch it. We talked about AGI and ASI. Within the next few years, we're going to see so many more people going on this welfare system because of a loss of jobs that literally the line of people waiting for government checks is going to explode coming very soon to America. So yeah, I would say check for this one too. 3 of the 6 stages happening now, or at least in the next couple years. What about stage 4? Loss of faith in institutions. And in this stage, people stop believing in elections, stop believing in the court, stop believing the governments can fix anything. I mean, right now, do you think the government is here to help and fix everything? I think in a lot of ways, we've already lost that as well. Chaos and radical ideas spread during this phase. So is it happening right now? I mean, the last stage for sure. This one, I'd say it probably is. If not, we're into this stage. We're really getting into it. I mean, the last few years, people talked about election fraud. Faith in the government, I'm not going to say it's dropping, is gone. People are like, the government can't help us anymore. And so here's what I'm going to say it again. In this stage, chaos and radical ideas spread, and this is certainly happening right now. I can't believe this is the same America I grew up in. Our fathers warned us about this, and here it is. So here's what's going on. It's going to get worse, a lot worse. And the worst part is our belief that the government will fix this. No way the government can fix this. So stage 4, I say we are there right now too, right in the middle of it. But listen to this, and here's where the connections start coming in. Listen very carefully. Right now, there's a lot of people who do have hope. A lot of that hope is based on, of course, President Trump being elected. And listen, I'm not being political, saying yes or no. That's not my job. Our job is to prepare. And again, to make a connection, I'm going to show you in a minute. It's very frightening. But I will say this. All it takes is one small action to take that hope away. History has proved this to be true as well. Stage 5, revolutionary movement grows, gains mass support, where the extremists promise 3 things: peace, land for you, and bread. Not necessarily just bread, obviously, but that's the old adage, food. And people will join this because of desperation. Listen, I've talked about this in so many videos. The desperation comes in because of starvation. People get so hungry, they'll do anything they can. And with this, the peace is being taken away, the land, we're losing our rights, and most importantly, the food is in jeopardy. This is the number 1 catalyst for revolution, is food. Take away the food, people will uprise. Think about that, all the stuff happening right now. We talked about this, SNAP benefits, cutting off the food supply for 42 million Americans. We're talking about people in middle class. Remember, we just mentioned this. Middle class people. Without food, there is no peace. So stage 5, not quite there yet, but we're just about there. Of course, how about stage 6? Stage 6 is government is overthrown and chaos follows. This is where the old system, the old way of life completely collapses, power vacuum filled by violent radicals, and overtly a dictatorship, and often a civil war ensues. So stage 6, not quite there either, and hopefully not anytime soon. But history warrants, and think about this, is the very scary part, not the big scary part I'm going to get to in a second, but this is scary. When stage 5 and 6 happen, it happens very, very, very quickly, so fast that you don't even know it's going to hit. And for the United States, of course, I hope it'll never come. But does history show that? Am I just being naive? The greatest civilizations of the past have fallen not because of external invasion, but because of internal decay. Also from John F. Kennedy. And he gave us a warning, and we must listen and heed this warning, because that arrogance, that moral rot, that division that we see comes from the inside, not the outside. And just a few months later, after saying this, he was assassinated. Let me read this real quick and let this sink in. The assassination of JFK marked the moment that America lost its innocence. A turning point when faith in government, media, and institutions began to crumble, replaced by suspicion, disillusionment, and a deep sense that the system no longer serves the people. And here's that connection. Are you ready for this? Listen closely. People believed and had hope in JFK. He was a shining light in America, and that was ripped away. What political leader today do people believe in and have hope in? It's our last straw to finally change things for the better. We have hope that it'll change the way it is back to the way America was. Take America back. What happens if that hope is ripped away? Think about that very carefully. And if that does happen, that's exactly what this video is all about. Listen, there is no better time than right now to prepare, more than any other time, because I try to look at trends of things in the future. And if this happens, if that hope is ripped away, that is going to be the stage that takes us into stage 5 and 6, and America is over.